In Linux, and specifically with most of the utilities available at the Linux bash prompt, the documentation that's provided has certain commonalities in its usage. So when I do something like cd-help and I get a usage summary, there's a particular format that is most commonly used for this output. Very similar to if I do a cal-help and look at its usage option at the very top of that output. There are a number of common syntaxes that are used, and not every command follows all of the conventions. But to start out with a few of these examples, let's look again at the top here at the cd-help usage. The square bracket syntax that's made available here is indicating that this is an optional or not required. So I can run the cd command without any options or arguments, and that would be a perfectly valid use of that particular command. Inside of the square brackets, at the end here, for example, is a square bracket dir, meaning a directory. You would replace what's in there with what directory it is that you want to change directory into. The options that are available are a capital L or a capital P and optionally a dash lowercase e option. The straight up and down line, or the pipe symbol, is a logical OR. I can run cd with a capital L option or with a capital P option, but I would not run it with both of those options. And the nested square brackets indicate that if I use a capital P option, I can optionally also use a lowercase e option. I would not be able to use the dash e without also using the capital P. If I look at a man on cd, which is part of the shell built-ins, and I see if I can search for the cd command itself, I would get information about these particular options. I see the usage again in the exact same format with the nested square brackets to indicate what is optional. And since nothing is outside of that particular option, then I could run the command without any options or arguments. Looking at the man page for the ls command, they give the basic syntax here of ls with options, which are optional, and files, which are optionals, file being the file name that's the argument. This example shows another common usage amongst all of the documentation and usage syntax that is used. The ... indicates one or more. So I could have the file specified, but I could also list multiple files. Typically, options or arguments are separated with a space or any white space. Here also, they've further followed some of the naming conventions where option and file are in all uppercase. All uppercase is a good indicator that you might replace that word with whatever is relevant to your environment. For example, with ls, option would be -a, and file would be a file or directory name that you want to take a look at. If I do a man of date and the usage information at the top there, I see another example of the logical OR. With the date command, I can use a -u or --utc or --universal. That would give me the UTC time format instead of based off of my local time zone. I also see another example of the nested environment where I could give, this is for setting an actual date and time on my system, the month, day, hour, and minutes, and optionally a century and year or even seconds. Looking back at cal with --help, here they have the nested options of specifying a year, and optionally with that year a month, and optionally with that month a particular day. They have not followed the convention of a full uppercase syntax for that information. If I do a man-on-man, one of the sections in here was to give information about the common usage conventions that are used. A bold text is typically typed exactly as shown. An italics text would be replaced with an appropriate argument. Sometimes this is done in all capitals. Sometimes this is also done with a less than and greater than symbol around them. So not all environments and help environments use exactly the same syntax for how you should replace an appropriate syntax. The -ABC, any or all of the arguments within the square brackets are optional. This is the idea that the square brackets themselves indicate that whatever's there is optional. The pipe symbol, or straight up and down, is a logical OR. The ... that it is repeatable. These are common conventions across man, info, -- help, as well as syntax usage when you mistype a command at the command prompt. Commands that were used in this lesson include the man page, info page, as well as what is and options for commands such as -- help, or options for searching the man page with a -K.